How does it feel to be the least desired? Can you imagine how many times I get that inside of my comment section? Like, can you believe how many black men actually are brazen enough to put that inside of my comment section? And it's interesting to me because for years on top of years on top of years, black men have chased me all over the planet. Like, I have no problem getting a man, keeping a man, finding a man to sleep with, finding a man to be in a relationship with, finding a man to be married to, finding a man to have a baby with, and they're all black, right? I have no problem in that area. The problem I think I've been having is I myself have a commitment issue, right? I feel like I shouldn't have to commit to a man who wants a variety of women. I feel like just to stay with a man, I shouldn't have to be monogamous myself and be inside of that relationship, not sleeping with anybody, being honest, only sleeping with my man. Meanwhile, he's sleeping around with other women. And that's what has failed in a lot of my relationships, mostly all of my relationships. And I'm not saying because a man is, loves sex that that's what makes him a bad guy. What makes a man a bad guy is usually the lack of discipline and his inability to be honest with the people around him. So anytime I've been inside of a relationship and something terrible has happened, it's because usually I have caught them with a woman, a side woman, an old woman, a young woman, a woman that they used to date, a woman that they wanted to date, a woman that they was considering dating in the future, a woman that they've been dating the whole time they was dating me. It's always another woman there. And so when I realized that there was like this pattern in the type of men that I chose, and also a pattern in the type of behavior that a lot of men have, I realized that, maybe I should offer polyamory to a lot of the men that I'm dating. Why not offer polyamory, right? Why not? And that has never worked out well, regardless, because a lot of the times men just can't handle the thought of them sleeping with a whole bunch of women, right? And their woman also doing it as well. And so, back to this whole, how does it feel to be the least desired woman on the planet? I get that inside of my comment section all of the time by black men. And it's unfortunate because it's like, to me, when I see it, it's a form of self hatred. It's like they hate themselves so much. They hate the black part of them so much. They hate their own mothers, sisters, cousins, or whatever else that they feel like, in order to make them feel better about who they are or the women that they are connected to, they have to say something so cruel to me. And then they actually believe that it, like, I take it personal, and I don't, because I look at other people's behavior and I factor it in as something that they are dealing with. That has something to do with them, not necessarily me. So when I see people comment or people doing whatever they do, they doing their own thing. Like, when you get on social media, everybody's doing their own thing, even if their own thing is consisting of trolling or bullying somebody else or saying something mean or gossiping or being extra or getting attention or whatever the case is. Everybody has something that they're, doing on the internet, and they're just doing their own thing. So when people come in my comments and express themselves the way that they do, I always consider how they express themselves as their representation of how, basically they want to present themselves to the world. So it isn't me taking it personal, what a lot of y'all say. So when men come in my comments and say, what does it feel like to be the least desired woman in the world? I can always say, you know what, that feels great to me. Because let me explain to you something. I have never in the history of living and breathing had a difficult time with getting the attention of men, getting them to want to stay around me, marry me, have children with me, be with me, spend money on me. These are not issues that I have. The issue is that when they do make the commitment of being monogamous to me, instead of them sticking to that commitment, they tend to end up being with other women at the same time. And they want me to feel comfortable with the concept of me being monogamous while they continue to be promiscuous or behave as if they are single men. That is the difficult part. That's the problem that I'm having. Because it's like, homie, if me and you going to be in any type of relationship we decide to be in, number one, we're going to treat each other mutually with a level of mutual respect. Hey, I see you back again. My thing is, I feel like I should be treated with a level of mutual respect, or we should have a situation where it benefits us equally. And so when black men say that to me, that I'm the least desired because black men are out here encouraging men to date outside of their race, and it's something that black men been doing. This is not a new phenomenon. Men who are successful have been dating outside of their race for as far back as I can remember. As at least even as a child, I would see men who were black and the women that they would end up with were white women. And I always chalked it up to, oh, they're successful, so they're around a different set of women. Because once you become wealthy and successful, you are now, your environment is different. You're not around predominantly black people. When you can afford the spoils of non-black people, you start to be around more non-black people. So I just felt like a lot of the black men who had money, success, education, or were celebrity, their environment changes. So now they're surrounded by non-black women because it's more non-black women out there who are successful, who had money. Now, this is when I was younger. Now I believe that there are a lot of African American women who are financially stable. I'm seeing them all over the place. There was a time where I just be in a business meeting and be the only black woman there. It's times I've been in corporate meetings and I'm the only black woman there. And now I think it's different because a lot of the people in their 20s and in their 30s, a lot of African American women have just decided to handle their business. And I've noticed it's been like more of a trend now for black women to handle their business. So black men are no longer standing in rooms of filled with successful people and wealth, and they're the only black person there. Now you're starting to see a lot of black women, but I believe back in the day it used to be, oh, okay, they're just surrounded by a whole bunch of foreign people. So speaking of foreign people, foreign women are beautiful. Okay, I live in Northern California. I say this every time I get on a live stream. I live in Northern California. This is me actually live streaming right now. I have been streaming and I'm going to stream as much as I can. I'm going to stream 24 hours a day. And sometimes it's going to be me in the stream. And then other times it's going to be a previously recorded live stream that's reposted, or old content that I have, because I have so much old content that you could still apply now, that it's still a level of entertaining that I can post now. So I'm going to have my old content streaming, I'm going to have new content streaming, and then I'm going to stream. So everything from now on is going to be a stream or a premiere. It's not going to be an upload. It's not going to be any of that. And honestly, when I look at my analytics on my channel, which YouTube tries to make it seem like the analytics section is like so informative, like it just gives you this good, healthy breakdown of how to use YouTube and make a lot of money off of it, when really it's just not as helpful as you think it is. But when I do look at my analytics, I always notice that, and it's been for years, it's been like this. It's more people watching my videos that are not subscribed to me than it is people who are subscribed to me. So I feel like once you to subscribe to somebody's channel and you haven't hit that notification bell, you're not going to know what's going on with the people that you are subscribed to, period. And it's certain things that, whether you are subscribed to that person or click the notification bell or not, the algorithm is going to show you whatever. Okay, it's going to show you whatever you are looking at the moment. Like if I decide I want to look at Starbucks coffee commercials and I Google Starbucks, not Google, put in the YouTube search Starbucks coffee commercials, regardless to who the fuck that I am subscribed to, whether I'm hitting that notification bell or not, my feed is going to have a whole bunch of Starbucks stuff on it every time I open that YouTube app. So, what I've decided to do is no longer focus so much on the people who are subscribed to me. Doesn't mean I don't love you guys. Doesn't mean I won't post content for you. But I just feel like YouTube keeps pushing my content to people who are not subscribed to me. So now I have to reintroduce myself over and over and over again to a whole bunch of people that ain't subscribed to my channel. So if you subscribe to my channel and you've been subscribed to my channel for a long time and you used to seeing a whole bunch of old content and you know how Soncerae rock, I appreciate you being here and being very supportive of what it is that I do. And also just keep in mind that a lot of the stuff that you've seen already, the reason why you might be seeing it again is because I'm showing it to someone who's never seen me before. Okay, just keep that in mind. So the new strategy for my channel is a streaming, consistent streaming, and I'm talking about 24 hours a day type of streaming. And I think the only time I'm going to stop streaming is between 2 a.m. and 3 a.m. But my streams start at 4 a.m. and stop at 2. And that's how it's going to be for the next 6 months because I'm trying to see what to do with my channel. Because if I don't do something with it, I'm going to just end up deleting it, honestly. Because I feel like if I'm going to be, posting videos on this motherfucker, I need to be having it as a source of income. Anybody who has a YouTube channel, if you're not doing this for a source of income, I don't know why you're here unless you just want to be entertained. Because sometimes I'm on here and I'm looking at true crime. I look at Kendall Ray all the time. Her and her husband have a podcast called Mile Higher. I check that out. One of her friends have this podcast called The Sesh. I check that out. And that's the kind of content I look at all of the time. A lot of the stuff that I feel like my audience looks at, I don't even look at that stuff. Like they're looking at O'Shea Duke, Cynthia G, Tommy Sotomayor, Kevin Samuels. I don't look at any of that. So it's weird that my audience, that's all they look at. And I'm like, if you looking at me, I'm not doing any of that content. I might talk about race a little bit, but I'm not on the degree how I used to be. Like I kind of used to be that kind of content creator, and now I've kind of outgrown that. Like I'm on a different level, and when you get on a different level intellectually, spiritually, financially, you get different. And I feel like I've changed so much and glowed up so much in the past couple of years. Like ever since I've had my son, I feel like I've changed a lot, and I'm around a different set of people. So I post different content that can only apply to people who understand the growth. And if you don't understand the growth and you're not coming with me, I understand that. So I understand if people unsubscribe. I understand if people, you guys still want to listen to a lot of gossip and a lot of stuff. I've just outgrown that stuff. I've outgrown the content that I used to do so much. So anyway, it's still going to be streaming on the channel. It's just the new content that I post will most likely be nothing like that. So anyway, it might be similar because I think this live stream right here where I'm talking about foreign women, I think I would have probably did this a couple of years ago. But I'm still different. Like my vernacular is different, my energy is different. So I'm just gonna come off different, because I'm just not how I was. I just grown a lot. So anyway, speaking of foreign women are very beautiful. I'm surrounded by foreign women. I live in Northern California, and out here it is a whole bunch of Asian, Mexican, French women, European women, all just types of different women. And I get to see how these women carry themselves within their family, when it comes to the business, when it comes to friendships, just how they do deal with their finances and all types of stuff. I get to see outside of my own culture. And I feel like when I lived in Atlanta, I was like stuck inside of this box of only looking at my own people and my own culture and not really getting to see what the rest of the world looks like. And so in Northern California, I barely see my own culture here. I'm looking at everybody else's culture and I'm seeing how they're doing things and how much better they do things inside of the black than people do inside of the black community. And so anyway, I posted a TikTok earlier today where I spoke about a friend of mine who's from France. And she just moved here. She's about 25, right? And she just moved here. She lived in New York for a little while. She lived in Israel for a little while. And she lives in the Bay Area right now, out here with me. And so I met her while I was out handling my business, and we clicked immediately. Like we just instantly started being friends. And, as I get older, it's kind of difficult for me to find friends because listen, I'm 41, so it's different. I'm in a different mindset. Even though I'm in a different mindset than this young lady, we still seem to click it off. Click immediately. And so anyway, she was like, she moved here for work. And they put her up in a nice loft, a nice place, but she's there by herself and she can't stand it. And so it gave us the opportunity to talk a lot because she's alone and I'm alone. Like I literally, if I'm not working, I'm not doing anything. I don't date. I don't go anywhere. All I do is work, take care of my son. Work, take care of my son because those are my priorities. Work, take care of my son, handle my business. That's it. And she is in a different stage of her life where she's dating like crazy, and she just started dating black guys. When I first met her, she was dating this NBA player whom was black, right? But he seemed to be ignoring the absolute fuck out this chick. And I couldn't understand why, because she's beautiful, she's French, she has this gorgeous, soft spoken, feminine tone. She speaks English and has a little accent on the side. So I could see why a man would be interested in her. She has a nice body, a beautiful face. She's easy to talk to. And I'm like, this is an amazing person. Just across the board, this is an amazing person. Why in the world is this NBA player just ignoring the absolute fuck out of her when she lives up the street from him? It isn't like she lives far. She lived far away from him for about 3 years, right? And before that, she was significantly younger. Like I said, she's like 25 and he's like 35, but she's been dealing with him for 7 years. So I was like, excuse me, like he was messing around with you like long before you even turned 18. Like, to me, the pedo vibes is just not even like, I don't be feeling the pedo vibes. Like, people be sweating Michael B. Jordan and Lori Harvey's relationship, and I'm just not feeling it because he like 10 years older than her, and I think it's gross. But people are out there like, why do you think that's gross? It's not like it's statutory rape. She's grown. I'm like, nah, because see, to me, it just seemed weird when an old ass man tries to date a woman who's barely legal. Like, y'all know how I feel about that. Like, I don't like that. Like, I think that that's gross because I have a 20-year-old. If she was dating a dude like that was like 31, I don't know how I would feel like about that. And I definitely wouldn't want her dating someone me and her father's age. That's just crazy. But so many women do it and they look at me like I'm crazy. Oh, she's legal. She should be able to do it. No. Just because she's legal doesn't mean she's mentally prepared for that type of relationship, because mentally, women who are in their early 20s, they're in a different mental state than someone who's lived more life. You understand? Once you live more life, you start to get a deeper understanding and you no longer deal with a lot of the things that you used to in your early 20s. Like, anybody who's listening to me and you're in your early 20s, I promise you, when you get my age and you start looking back at the shit that you're doing right now, you wouldn't go for a lot of the shit that people be trying to pull on you. Like, when I was in my early 20s, men could get away with a whole bunch of shit. Okay? Because I didn't factor in, like, I didn't understand the level of disrespect some men were showing me because I just didn't know. Now I know. Oh, he was okay. I see what this nigga was doing. That's how I am now. I get it now. But then I didn't understand that. And so that's the same thing with to me when I look at Lori Harvey and Michael B. Jordan. It looked cute, but I'm sorry, the pedo vibe. So anyway, my French girlfriend, back to my French girlfriend, she's 25, and she was dating a guy for 7 years, and he's 35. So that means he was dating her when she was barely legal, right? And so before she was even legal. And so anyway, she went 3 years without seeing him, and they was still kind of like talking. And then finally she moved out here to the Bay to be closer to him. And she had a job out here. And since she's gotten here, right, this dude has treated her like garbage. I'm talking about, like, he's not paying attention to her. Holidays, he leaving her in her apartment by herself. He ain't inviting her nowhere. He ain't answering the phone. He not doing none of that with her. And she cannot seem to understand why he suddenly decided to do this. So instead of like chasing him around, she decides to be with another guy, right? And this other guy is black. Now, mind you, after she told me about the athlete and her possibility of possibly being pregnant by him, she was like, I don't know if I'm pregnant. And ever since I told him there's a possibility that I'm pregnant, he's been acting funny and blah, blah, blah. I was like, why am I not surprised? Why am I not surprised by this? The fact that she is French and known this man for 7 years means nothing to this black man. This man is still dodging her because she said she's pregnant. Let that sit with you. That is a black man's signature. So I'm like, girl, please never sleep with him again. Whatever you do. Like, because I'm telling you, no man in the history of manhood would treat a woman he genuinely wants to be with the level of disrespect that he's treating this French girl. So anyway, she decides that she wants to start dating another black guy. She sends me a picture of her and a black guy. I already am like, first of all, why are you sending me a picture of you and this man in bed? Because they was in bed together. And I was like, how long you known this dude? She was like, oh, I just met him a week ago. I was like, why are you in bed with him already? like, damn, can y'all have a couple of conversations? Has he taken you on a date? I mean, what is he doing that's so amazing that has you in bed with him already? And she's like, oh, he revealed some of his secrets to me. And we just talked all night. So he talked you out your panties. Like, the connection that you have with him is solely off of a couple of conversations. I said, do you realize that this man is telling you whatever he needs to tell you in order to get you in bed? She was like, no, it's not like that. I think this is going to be real. It feels so different. He told me I was different from all of the other women, and he likes foreign women because foreign women are nicer than black women. I said, girl, this man is dating you simply off of the fact that you are not black. That is the only reason why he's dating you. He's not dating you because you have a good personality or that you're a good person or that he loves some other characteristics outside of the fact that you're not black, sis. He's dating you because the trend right now is for black men to date foreign women. It has nothing to do with who you are as a person. And I honestly feel like he's just going to pump and dump you because, number one, you met him last week and you already slept with him. You don't know this dude. She was like, I think I do. He told me his secrets. I told him I was possibly pregnant by someone else, and he said okay and told me about his daughter. I said, listen, in the back of this man's mind, he is judging you for being pregnant by another man and you still feeling comfortable with sleeping with him, even though there's a possibility that you pregnant by somebody else. Like, he's gonna judge you for that in his mind. He's just not gonna tell you that, because if he tells you that, then you're not going to want to sleep with him. Sis, she's like, no, I think it's different. He's telling me I'm special. I said, well, maybe because you're foreign, maybe there's a slight possibility that he's just going to treat you better than he would treat a black woman. Because a black woman would not be able to get away with telling the dude she pregnant and this man talking about some, he still want to be with her and date her. Nah, he's going to pump and dump her because that's how black men operate. Like, you can't tell no black man that you possibly pregnant by another man and think he gonna want to stay there and be with you and help you raise a child that belongs to another man. It's too many Dusties out here for that to be a truthful thing. It's too many men. I see men complaining all of the time inside of my comment section. Oh, single mother this. I wouldn't dare date a single mother. I would not do it. You know what I'm saying? Whatever y'all be in there talking about. Like, I want to start my own family. I don't want to raise another man's. I hear men say that all of the time inside of my comment section. In real life, not so much, but inside of my comment section, I see it all of the time. So anyway, I'm telling her, I said, listen, honey, sweetheart, you won't know this man. You do not know this man. He been around for a week. He could tell you anything to sleep with you, anything at this point. So he's gonna make you feel like you're a straight princess until you sleep with him. I promise you, things will change once y'all have sex with each other because his motive is to have sex with you. And she was like, oh no, I think he's gonna be around. And blah. I said, girl, you're not listening to what I'm saying. I said, okay, maybe. Trying to give her a little hope, like maybe he'll treat you better. I say this on like I don't know, a Tuesday. By the time Thursday got there, because I told her, I said, listen, this man is not going to stay around long. Soon, you're going to be talking to me about a whole nother dude. Okay, I can already tell you how this going to go. Tuesday, we're having this conversation. By the time Thursday comes, she's hitting me up like, oh, he's such an asshole. Like, I don't even want to talk to him anymore. He did exactly what you said he was going to do. He did blah, blah, blah. I said, because, sis, number one, you dealing with a black man. They handle things very different. Number two, had you slowed down and got to know this dude, you probably would have realized that he wasn't even good enough for you to sleep with to begin with. Why would you even, what, what's up? Miss Hudges, Waiters Hudges, what's up? Nyla, what's up? MJs. So I really just feel like, man, I tried to tell her. I tried to tell her, and young people don't want to listen. But because I'm 41, and I've been through so many different experiences, and I've counseled so many different people, and I've helped so many people get married. So many people have the type of lifestyle that they want, even if it has nothing to do with marriage. And I keep trying to tell all of the young people who come to me wanting advice that you got to listen to what I'm saying. You got to be able to trust me when I'm telling you what I'm telling you. And if you don't trust me, you're going to keep getting hurt over and over and over and over. So anyway, when I put this video up on TikTok about, my foreign friend, of course, men was in the comment section telling me I was bitter and that's not how all black men are and blah blah blah. And I said, listen, I'm not talking about all black men. I'm talking about the black men who fetishize, have this fetish for foreign women. Like they feel like that's all they have to date. The motive behind them dating foreign women is because they feel like these foreign women have no idea the type of games that they playing as a black man. Black women, we know what kind of games black men be playing. We know. We know how that shit go. But a foreign woman is not going to know that. So that's what I was saying inside of the TikTok. Like, yo, I'm not going to know what a French man does in France. So it's more likely for me to get played by a French man because I don't know what games a French man is playing. And it's the same thing with my French friend who is now in America trying to date these black men. And the funny thing is, these black men don't even realize that the reason why my French friend is even considering dating black men who are NBA players or blah 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 is because she knows that you guys fetish her, and she knows that she's going to try to do whatever she can to get pregnant, to get her green card, because she ain't got a green card. Meaning her visa is temporary, meaning it expires soon. So the only way it can be fixed is if she gets married, right? So she's looking just to find some random black man to get pregnant by, or to marry, or one that's wealthy enough to fall, to pay for her, fall for her, and fall for her beauty. And she knows this. So you see how at the end of the day, it's like, who's pimping who here? Who who's pimping who the hardest? The black man who only wants to date a foreign woman because he knows that a foreign woman is not going to be up on top of what kind of games he playing, right? Or is it the foreign woman who knows that black man wants to date her, and she's looking for a green card, a money, some money, a husband, to come up off of a check off of her pregnancy? Because she was so, I was thinking to myself when she told me she was pregnant by the NBA player. I said, I hope you're not pregnant, sis, because you don't want to be sitting here raising a baby by yourself. I said, are you scared of single motherhood? She was like, no. She was just like, I don't understand who's gonna date a woman who has children. I said, girl, you would not believe how many men feel comfortable with dating me, marrying me. They don't care that I have kids. They don't care. Even childless men, oh, please, they will take care of my son like my son is. They don't care. So it's just like, she was just saying, I don't see how anybody would date me if I'm a single mom. And I was thinking to myself, why the fuck would you care? You should be caring about your children. Like I said, tell people all of the time, it's hard for me to even think about men at this point because of my son. Like, all I think about is my kids. That's all I think about. Like, I don't have. I think when I was younger, and I my daughter's father was there to help me raise my daughter. So it was easy for me to have a breakaway. Like, sometimes he'd take her for the summertime. Sometimes I'll have her and he'll take her for like holidays and stuff like that. So I had time to like take a break. Like, and that's the cool part about being able to co-parent with somebody who's mature enough to handle their responsibilities. But when you're dealing with somebody like my son's father, who has never even met our son, and he thinks sending a $264 a month child support check is him fathering some shit, then it becomes a whole nother thing. Like, all I think about is my son. I don't have a break from my son. Like, even with me sitting here doing a live stream, I keep thinking about what I'm going to do after I get off the live stream and go to Safeway, because I got to make sure I figure out what my son is going to eat today because he's a toddler and he's only thinking about eating pizza, oodles and noodles, and damn fruit snacks. That's all my son wants to eat. He doesn't want to eat a fucking vegetable. He doesn't want to eat any fruit. And it's like driving me crazy. You know what I'm saying? Because I keep trying to give him a fruit cup and he like, no, mommy, no. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not eating that. And then he got hunger pains and he mad at me because he hungry. And he won't eat the food that I'm trying to give him. And that's all I'm thinking about in the middle of a live stream talking to y'all about four. So I just don't understand how. I guess it's the age difference between her and I. Because all she keeps talking about, like, I was like, yo, you want to hang out this weekend? And she was like, I want to go to the strip club. I'm like, bitch, look, first of all, I ain't in Atlanta. In Atlanta, it's a strip club everywhere. In San Francisco or anywhere in the Bay Area, a strip club is difficult to find. It's like a handful, and it's a big ass area. As big as the Bay is. The Bay is like, man, the Bay gotta be like 100 times bigger than Atlanta, right? Atlanta tiny in comparison to the Bay Area, right? Because this is California. California is big as hell. In this entire area in Northern California, I'm telling you, it's only like maybe 5 strip clubs. Okay, maybe. But if you're looking for it, you're not going to be able to see it. Like if you're just driving down the street and you're like, I wonder where a strip club is. You're not going to be able to see it. You got to know somebody that know where the strip club at. That's how hidden a strip club is in the Bay Area. Okay. You got to know somebody that know where the strip club at. Because it's not going to say strip club in the front. Atlanta, on the other hand, big ass advertisement for the strip club. Right there on a big ass like billboard, a advertisement for Magic City, an advertisement for Strokers, an advertisement for Cheetah. You know, a whole bunch of just different oases for scattered ass. It's all they everywhere. I'm talking about the insurrection, the sex store, all of it, everywhere. Okay, it's like you can't miss it. People come to Atlanta just to go to Trapeze. Trapeze is a swingers club. People come from Atlanta and be like, where Trapeze at? And you go to Trapeze, it's obvious where Trapeze at. Bay Area is not like that. So she was saying she wanted to go strip club. I said, first of all, girl, I ain't going to no goddamn strip club. You can X that out. Because I lived in Atlanta for 17 years. I've been to so many damn strip clubs, so many damn stripper parties with strippers. Every party I went to, strippers was at. Okay, I don't want to see no naked girls twerking. I don't want to smell clapped ass. I don't want to hear no ratchet ass song where a girl is twerking. I don't want none of that. Okay, if you want to go do something like all of these amazing things to do in the Bay Area because we have so much culture here. This is a very culture. It's a lot of culture here. So you got Shin Yu is here. The Nutcracker is here. I'm pretty sure the hip hop Nutcracker are coming here. You can go to the symphony, damn orchestra. It's so many farmers markets here. It's so much to do outside of anything that has to do with sex. I'm telling her, yo, you might want to try to do what's happening that has nothing to do with that because you're more likely to meet a good man in a place where it's not sexual. Like I tell women be like, where are the good men at? Where are the good men at? I know this police officer did not just do that. And child. Okay, so in this area, right, where we are, you're more likely to find a good man in a place that isn't a party, isn't a bar, isn't a strip club, or you're more likely to find a good person to be with if a friend introduced you to someone or your coworkers is one of your coworkers. This place is so family oriented and so much about building friendships and long-term situations with people. Stuff like strip clubs just don't match with the people here. It's not that type of thing. These people going out all day, every day, riding bikes, walking dogs, having picnics, having street parties and like block parties and shit like that. maybe like a whole bunch of people ride motorcycles and stuff, so you got bike clubs that come out and do stuff. So it's just different. It's not a place where you come to get fucked. You know what I'm saying? Or I just can't explain it. So it seems like to me this girl's mind is on sex because with just within the past couple of weeks alone, it's only been a month. Like let's say the past 4 weeks, this woman has been with 4 different men sexually, 4 different men. But at the same time, she's looking for a man to marry her. And I'm like, you looking for a black man to marry you? Well, you like you had more luck trying to marry an Asian dude or a white dude in this area because these people are looking for family. They're not looking for a fun time. And that's why I tell people your environment will determine how successful your relationship is. The city that you live in can affect whether you're married or not. Like this one woman told me, she came into my comment section earlier on TikTok and asked me, did I live in a rural area? Because if I lived in a rural area, I would have already been married. She said, I'm 41, I'm too old to not be married. If I lived in a rural area, I would be married by now. And I said this about some of the guys that I grew up with in high school. They say to me, yo, had you stayed in PG County, Maryland, right? Had you stayed in Maryland instead of going to Atlanta to work on your career, you would be married by now. Because even in PG County, where I come from, it's a very family oriented place. People get married there. Now it may be different now, but as I grew up, and the people I grew up with, we was about going to church and being family. So I don't. I feel like had I stayed in PG County, I probably would be married, probably to somebody that I went to high school with. You know, and I still talk to a lot of the people that I went to high school with. Here in the Bay, I still haven't like stepped out pocket and tried to build some real solid friendships. I think this French girl was like the first person I tried to build some type of friendship with. And even with her, I keep trying to tell her you need to watch out for these black men because they coming for you, sis. And they aren't treating black men aren't treating their preference any better than they would treat a black woman. Like black men will say all of this negative stuff about black women and then they'll turn around and they'll date like a woman like my friend who's French and still treat her bad. I just told you an NBA player, a black one, treat her bad. He don't even he act like she and he been around her for 7 years and just treat her like nothing. I'm surprised he hasn't asked her to marry him yet. Like I'm like, you've been around him 7 years, he ain't actually married him. And you sit here, you talking about you pregnant and you want to be pregnant by him because you want that chick. And you want to be married to him because you want a green card. But nothing, anything she said to me about this man had anything to do with love. You know what I mean? She was just like, I love him. And I was like, okay, why do you love him? And she couldn't name anything. I said, what has he done for you that's so amazing that has you in love with him? She was like, I don't know. I was like, does he take you out all the time? Does he give you gifts? Is he good in bed at least? Or does he name something that he's done that is just so amazing that makes you think that you should be with him? And she could not name one thing. I said, is he paying your rent? You decided to move out here to the Bay from New York, because she lived, like I said, she lived in France, she lived in Israel, and then she lived in New York. And then she moved here for work. I said, who got you your apartment? My job. So he didn't get you your apartment. You moved right up the street from his house so you can be closer to him. And he don't even acknowledge your existence. Why do you love this man? I hate that women love men in their mind. It's like inside of their mind, they're like, okay, I just love this guy and the potential of who I think he is inside of my mind, not the guy that's standing directly in front of them and what he's showing them. Like too many women come to me wanting advice about a man that they're dating, and then I start asking them questions like, okay, what is it has he done? What has he done that makes him so amazing? And they can't name anything because all they are enamored they're enamored by the idea of who this man is. The make-believe version of who he is in their mind is who they love. And that's an issue right there. And I'm like, you gotta stop living in your mind. You gotta stop. I took care of 3 kids that wasn't mine before, 2 girls and 1 boy. See, men do it. Men do it. Like I know a lot of single mothers are like, oh, not a lot of single mothers, but a lot of childless women who are afraid to be a single mothers. They think because they hear a lot of men online complaining about single mothers that they, can be afraid of that. The phenomenon of the single mother is not like some negative thing. Like matriarch societies are real. It's even in the animal kingdom. Like lions are that way. Like lions are a pack of lions is ran by women. And a lot of people think the king of the jungle is a lion when really it's about the queen. Like, think about that. And it's a lot of different, like, orca whales are the same. Whales are ran by women, it's matriarch. So matriarchy is not like this negative thing that people keep trying to make it be. It's not that. I think a lot of men are trying to teach women that being a matriarch is like so difficult. But at the same time, it's like if you got leadership skills and time management skills, and know how to get your resources and your money, just like you believe a man should, then you can do it. Like if you can live on your own, let's just say you don't have any kids, you don't have a man, you don't have any family, and it's just you by yourself. If you can manage to survive through that, you're basically what everyone requires a man to be. Okay, if you are that as a woman, to me, as in my perspective of reality, that's just the way you're supposed to be to survive, regardless of your own gender. You have to cook your own meals, clean your own house, have your own source of income. These are things that you should just do if you're alone. And so I'm thinking to this girl, this girl keeps saying the NBA player has all this money and she has nothing. And I'm like, you do have something. You have the opportunity to build something here. You were given a job and they gave you a place to live. But you live in a loft, a big ass, nice ass loft in the Bay Area, and it's a lot of homeless people around you that ain't even getting that. And instead of you appreciating the fact that you have that, you're trying to get pregnant by an athlete to get his money. That's it. I mean, I don't know. It just seems off, at least to me. And so, anyway, would you help other aspiring to do YouTube? I don't know. That's a good question. I'm gonna get back to that. Single moms are the best because they're experienced. Let me tell you something about a single mother. All right. I think the fact that men are factoring in the possibility that they have to use their own resources to take care of another child is the what's holding them back from a single mother. Because they have this picture in their mind of single mothers being number one, broke and struggling. Not every single mother is broke and struggling. You know what I mean? Like a lot of us got our shit together. You know what I mean? Like we don't need you to, father our children. What we need you to do is actually be there as a sounding board for us. You know what I mean? Like to be the kind of man that, we need. Because usually if we had a baby by a man who has abandoned us with a child, two things, it's either one or two things happen. Number one, it was a casual thing to begin with, and he was just a dusty to begin with, and we was just sleeping with him, and that's it, and a pregnancy wasn't supposed to come out of it. Or number two, we was in a full-blown relationship and or marriage with some guy, and the guy that we were with is so bitter and so much of an asshole, he just won't take care of his kids. And a lot of times when that kind of makes a difference. You can always decipher the difference, I'm sorry, between a high end single mother and a low energy baby mama. Because when you're dealing with a high energy single mother, a high end single mother, usually we are not going to come to you on some, I need you to come father my kids. If anything, we're trying to figure out how you going to be for us and how we going to treat you and what kind of arrangement can we make with each other, because we already take good care of our kids. Whatever it is that you're doing is a plus, it's not a necessity. So you just got to know which type of woman you dealing with, because not all single mothers are the same. It's just not. you know I think that um I personally have been avoiding just men in general, because I don't want to, number one, have another soul tie with a man because I'm like spiritually in a good place. I do not want to disrupt that energy with the wrong guy because I feel like I did that with Priest. Me and Priest, it's almost like his energy was so off, and I should have just not dealt with him. But at the same time, I wouldn't have my son, so I don't regret having Priest. Okay, and I know sometimes it may seem like it because when I talk about his dumb ass, I'm not very nice, and my energy changes when I talk about Priest. I try not to talk about Priest as much because my energy changes, but number one, my celibacy. I don't want to create another soul tie. And number two, if I get in a relationship with another man, I don't want to blame on him some shit that my quote unquote baby daddy did. That's corny as shit. Like I hate when women like get a new dude who's decent and then she's still like sleeping with her baby daddy. Ugh. Or she's still like hung up on her baby daddy. Man, that's gross. Like get over your baby daddy first before you start trying to date other men. You know what I'm saying? Like that's corny. Like don't be doing that to these guys. Because there's too many good men out here that they're genuinely a good person. Like I be looking at like paternity court, right? I love paternity court because I like the lady. I can't even remember her name, but I like female judges. Like I like Judge Towler, and I like what's the lady on paternity court name? I can't remember this lady name for my life. But anyway, I always like her hair. She always got her wig looking nice. Her makeup looking nice. So anyway, I watched a clip earlier today of this guy. He was on the paternity court with his wife, and he found out that his child wasn't his, and his reaction, like he was just quiet and just tears was just running down his eyes. And the judge says to him, like, are you gonna talk? You gonna tell us how you feel? He just was like, man, I feel like I want to die. That's what he said. He said, I feel like I want to die because I don't deserve this. I'm a good person, and this little boy don't deserve this. And the little boy ended up being this side dude's baby. Like his wife had like a side dude, and that ended up being the father of her child. And the way, just to see how hurt this dude was when he found out his child wasn't his, and he just started crying right there. And it wasn't like a bad cry. He was just quiet and just tears was just streaming down his face. And I just felt so bad for him. I was just like, oh my God. And those are the type of women that I feel like men keep choosing poorly. And because them two are broken up and now she's going to end up being a single mother, men are believing that the type of woman that woman is how single mothers are. And that's just not the case. Lauren Lake, that's right, that's her name, Lauren Lake. Thank you. Lauren Lake. Thank you. Because I was like, what is this goddamn woman's name? I know. But anyway, I like her. But he just was so sad, and I hate that people generalize single mothers all the time. Like I try not to generalize black women or black men. A lot of black men believe that, like, if I post a video where I'm calling out black men or something, they'd be like, oh, your whole platform is designed for you to say something negative about men. Nah, because I get on here and I talk about women too. Like, and that's the only time I see a lot of men clapping me on, when I'm saying, hey, the black female collective is out of their goddamn mind because all they want to do is use men for money. But just how I was just talking about my French friend, my friend is from France and still trying to use men for money. You see what I'm saying? It doesn't really matter what race you are when you are a woman, right? Y'all got to start looking at these women's characters, not their race, because their character will tell you what kind of person they are. And a woman who is a mother and takes good care of her children should be extremely attractive to you, because that means she's going to take care of your children. You understand? Like it's not a bad thing that a woman is already a mother. If you get to see what kind of mother she would be to your children. If you're watching a woman mother her children and she doing a good job, yo, be happy, because that's the type of woman you need to, mother your own children. So I think men are like, oh no, I want to start my own family. I don't want a blended family, and that's okay. That's an okay preference to have. But don't be mad at men who chose to have a blended family. Like having a blended family is not like this big death sentence, like a lot of childless people be trying to talk about. But I try not to generalize black men. I try to call dusty black men dusty and exceptional black men exceptional. So men don't. So men know I don't generalize men, and I don't generalize women either. I don't think all women are monolithic. I just don't think that. You know. So anyway, I feel like I don't know what to do outside of the new strategy that I have. Nyla knows. You said, would you help other aspiring to do YouTube? Would I help others aspiring to do YouTube? I would help others aspiring to do YouTube any day. I've done it over the past few years. I feel like I made a terrible mistake with some of the YouTubers that I chose to help. Because at the end of the day, even though I chose to help them, the way that they mishandle me afterwards is what's disappointing. Because it's like, you could at least like not bite the hand that feeds you, and you could at least give me some props for encouraging you or helping you build your channel or trying to, you know, just be a positive force for you. A lot of people that I help with their YouTube channel, they don't give me credit for that shit, and it's unfortunate, but a lot of them don't. And sometimes it makes me not want to help aspiring YouTubers. How long have you been celibate? Okay, so my celibacy has been one of those things that I have like been fighting to stay, because I've broken my celibacy for people. Like I've been celibate, and then I meet somebody and I'm like, okay, this person wants to marry me, or this person wants to be in a committed relationship, and then I break my celibacy, and then I find out it wasn't even worth it. So that's why I'm never doing it again. Like people like, oh, you're gonna be single forever. Uh-huh. You're gonna be celibate forever, pretty much. Because I don't feel like I'm gonna be able to meet someone that'll match me. Like match me spiritually, match me intellectually, match me emotionally. I just don't see it. I will never meet my match, because there's no man on the planet that can match me. It's just no man here to be able to do it. But I've been celibate for 4 years since my son's father and I broke up. I tried to stay, to myself. Sometime last year in like June, I started seeing a childhood friend, and he and I was talking about getting married. And I had sex with him once. And even then, it was a bad time to break my celibacy again. And that's been my struggle, breaking my goddamn celibacy. Because I see a guy like my childhood friend, because I known him since like seventh grade. I thought we was literally gonna go for it. You know what I mean? I didn't know he was going to choose drugs and alcohol over me. He chose his addictions over me. It wasn't even other women. It was addictions. I was just like, damn, I'm getting men choosing fucking coke and damn PCP over me. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. Um, you said what ended up happening with who? Me and who? My childhood friend or my son's father? I have a book called On the Opulence, where I talk about how me and my son's father ended. Um, I mean, people who've been following me for a long time know that story. You know, they know about that story. I probably wouldn't talk about that story again. Like I'm so sick of talking about that. You know what I mean? But I want women to understand that you can't trust these men who, even if their behavior, excuse me, oh, excuse me, that was just nasty. Like blah. Y'all hear me burp? It was nasty. Anyway, I feel like men who will pretend to be exactly what you want them to be for as long as they can. Like when I tell people that me and my son's father was fine, like we had a great relationship. Like seriously. Like I can't even believe like our relationship was fine. We didn't have any, it wasn't like we was like arguing all the time and at each other's throats all the time. And that is not our relationship at all. We had a good relationship. And we were spending a lot of quality time together. We was building a friendship. We was like getting to know each other. And then I got pregnant with my son. And then things started switching to him because he wanted to sleep with other women. And he wanted to get back with his ex. And things weren't over between him and his ex. So to me, I just feel like as a man, like if you're not ready to be in a relationship, don't pretend like you are. Don't pretend like you love a woman, especially when she's a good woman and she's good to you. Like I used to be good to Prince. I used to like do his hair. I used to wash his hair. We used to get in the shower together. I used to rub his feet. He used to rub my feet. We was fine. We had a good time. We used to go out all the time, go have dinner, go to the movies, we had a good time. We go hiking, we go on picnics. Like I can't explain it. I cannot like the only problem that me and Priest had was the fact that he could not stop fucking around with his ex-wife. Like I could like and it wasn't even like that was a problem the entire time. I think sometime in the beginning, maybe it was an issue for a little while. And then towards the end, like right after I got pregnant with my son, she became a problem. And that's when things start really hitting the fan. But I mean, our relationship was good. I don't regret that relationship when it was good. And most of it was good. You always wanted to have that type of relationship. Like that type of relationship, a lot of people want that type of relationship. A lot of people would have wanted the type of relationship that me and my son's father had. Like we had a decent friendship. We spent a lot of quality time together. We would take a walk every day and hold hands, taking a walk. Like he'd get off work, I'll go pick him up from work, because he hated driving. I'll go pick him up from work, and then he come home from work, and we go get some food and take a walk and stuff. And I don't know. Like I don't know how a man could be unhappy in a situation like that. Like it was peaceful to me. I never brought any drama to him. I never disturbed his peace. I was his peace. So I don't know. He used to always be like, you just nice. You don't change. You're a nice person. You just really, and sometimes you're just too nice. And that relationship is an anomaly. Like the story of me, Priestess Sidonia, the takeaway that everybody should have of me, Priestess Sidonia, is that you should never fuck with your exes. Because you could fuck up a good situation that's better for you than the situation that you had with your ex. And then if you turn around and go back to your ex, thinking things gonna be different, you forget the reason why you left. And then you end up breaking up with that same person again and destroying a perfectly good relationship because you pining over your ex. That's the story. That's the takeaway everyone should get from me and my son's father. That's the lesson you should learn from our shit. It shouldn't be what like a lot of people like to put emphasis on me like, yo, you shouldn't have been dating him because he wasn't legally divorced yet and blah blah blah. I'm like, y'all don't understand. Like so many people date people who are separated, and so many people who are separated actually legally divorced. You know what I mean? Like just because two people are separated and they aren't legally separated doesn't mean that they're still together. Like I have an aunt, one of my aunts just passed away. She died of cancer. And she got married and never legally divorced her first husband. And they were divorced for like 30 years and she started dating somebody else. And he's dating somebody else. And they never legally got divorced, but she lived like in Georgia and he lived in like Utah. And they just never did it. They lived and they never talked. They didn't talk to each other, nothing. They just stopped dealing with each other and just never legally got divorced. And they started dating other people, you know. Has he tried to get me back? No, he has not tried to get me back. He couldn't get me back if he tried. He couldn't. I get no, because I mean I gave him the opportunity to choose what he wanted. He said he wanted to get back with his ex, so he got back with his ex, and they ended up getting divorced. And I think honestly, I would not be surprised if they still live together and still fucking with each other, just out of convenience. Because when I met them, they had like this living with each other out of convenience situation. So I wouldn't be surprised if they're still in that. Because some people just be stagnant and complacent and like those type of situations, and I just feel like that sounds like more up their alley. because they could never, like, out of the 15 years that they were married, they never really accomplished too much of anything. They didn't have any kids together. They didn't. I think they might have lived in a nice house in Snellville for a little while, but outside of that one little accomplishment in 15 years, like, it's just, it was a waste of marriage to me. They never should have got married. He was too young to be married anyway. He was her second husband. They should have never got married. They should never got married. But being as though they did, I just feel like if you're gonna be with somebody for 15 years, they better be like making your life better to some degree. You know what I mean? And if you want to stay friends after that, yeah. But I honestly feel like I would not be surprised if them two still fucking with each other. But he'd never get me back. Oh, never. Mm-mm. No, no, no. I'm not the type of person that go back to my exes. You know what I mean? I've tried it. That's why I'm telling you, I'll never do that again. Because when you leave somebody, you leave them for a reason. You got to remember what that reason is, because sometimes so many things are amazing about that person, and then they do something that's a deal breaker for you, and you forget that they did that thing because you holding on to how amazing they were in other things. But what they did was a deal breaker. So it's just like you can't go back to them because they're going to do something similar to that deal breaker. Stand your ground, hold your boundaries, keep your standards. Don't fold. I don't understand why cheat when you have everything you need at home. You know what? I just felt like how people be thinking the grass is greener on the other side. Like, I think he was thinking because we were going through a patch where I was sick, we weren't making as much money because I was sick, that was going to be how it was forever. And he was just stuck in that moment so much, and he just didn't know how to deal with it. So he was just like, you know what? I want to find a woman who's better than this, who's on top of her game. Because he used to come, like, I was pregnant and sick, so I wasn't working as much. And he'd come home and start talking to me about women at his job and how fly they was. Because he used to work at, like, this place where they would have, like, these events. And these business women would come in and they would be throwing their events, and he was just like, I see these women and she doing her thing and blah blah blah. And that's the type of person I was. I was always doing my thing. Like, that's just how I am. But at that specific time, I was pregnant and sick, so I couldn't do my thing at that point. And instead of him being there and being supportive and encouraging me as I'm going through that condition in my life, he just started talking to me about other women and how impressed he was by the other women at his job and how he wanted to sleep with other women. And I just be looking at him like, yo, I'm pregnant. Like, I'm sick and I'm pregnant. I'm not even thinking about nothing like that. What you need to be thinking about is us having an environment that's stable and comfortable for a child to be raised in. That's what you need to be thinking about right now. And once we do that, like, once we get a stable environment for me, you, and the baby, then you can go fuck who you want to fuck. Because y'all got to remember, I'm poly. Like, as long as this is how Priest should have handled me. Okay, this is where Priest fucked up at. Because he could have had me and any other woman he wanted had he done this properly. So he seen me pregnant, right? And he agreed to a monogamous relationship, not a polyamorous one. He agreed to monogamy. But after I got pregnant, he decided he wanted to change his mind. He wanted to be poly. And so I came to him. I said, listen, let's just get a stable environment, get someplace where me, you, and the baby can, like, chill. And then you can go fuck with who you want to. He should have took me up on that offer. But instead of doing that, he wanted to abandon me in a hotel with a baby and then go sleep with those women right then. Had he waited for us to get more stable first, he could have had it all. He could have had it all because I was flat out like, listen, I'm not the type of person that's gonna get jealous of you sleeping with other people. That's just not me. Like, I just never been like that. My issue is the lying. Like, you don't have to lie to me. I need to be able to trust you. So when you say your ass is going to 7-Eleven to get some Rolly food, I need to be like, okay, he's going to 7-Eleven to get some Rolly food. Not, maybe he isn't. Did he go over to that bitch house? Is he lying to me? That's what hurts me, the lies. And so that's what hurts me about my son's father. He lied about being in love. He didn't love me. And I hate that he lied and pretended like he did. So yeah, I was making I was making more money than him before I got pregnant. And then once I got pregnant, I had lost a couple of sources of income, and I let go of a couple of sources of income because he asked me to. And so he wasn't supplementing that income. So we ended up, like, struggling financially because I wasn't making as much money as I was. And he wasn't making a lot of money from the beginning. So I was encouraging him to get another job. I was like, you should do like have another source of income or another side hustle or something. Like, let me help you with a side hustle so we can have more money, and then you won't have to be so worried. And since I'm gonna be in the house anyway, I'm pregnant, I ain't going nowhere, I'm on bed rest, so let's think of another way to have another source of income. And instead of him working with me, like building wealth, building a family, building something together, he decided he wanted to get back with his ex and sleep with other women. And it's unfortunate because, I mean, I'm pretty sure, like, he's a man, so he could probably meet another woman and then they have children together, and then he could, like, act like me and Justice never existed. But see, the problem with that is, at some point, because of who I am, right? I am not going to let him live down not being in Justice's life. That's never going to be like our son not having his father. It's hurting my son. That's not hurting me. So Priest is hurting himself and his son. You know what I mean? Like that's terrible. Like, why would you want to do that to a kid, man? A kid. He a kid. Like, he don't know. I just couldn't imagine doing that to my son. Like, every time when Priest asked me to put Justice up for adoption, every time I think about adoption, it's like, could you imagine if I put my son up for adoption? Like, he a kid, like walking around here not knowing where he going, what foster home he gonna be at, not knowing if somebody gonna adopt him or not. Like, I was just like, I cannot do that to him, because then he becomes a problem for the Black community. Like, I'm the type of person, I preach this message of how I want everybody to unify, and how everybody needs to change and do a specific type of behavior in order for the community to be, better. But what kind of person would I be if I put my child up for adoption and have him out in the system like that, and the system turn him into a problem for the Black community like every other Black boy that's a problem? That's all the system would have done to my son. That's all it would have did. So I was like, I have to keep my son. And everybody was like, well, you can't put your son's father on child support. Why the fuck not? At first I was like, I don't want to put him on child support because I want him to physically be there. I don't need his money. No, they need it. Why did he ask you to put him up for adoption? He didn't want to be there. He just was like, I don't want to be with you. I don't want to be in a relationship. I don't want the baby. He was like, and plus we're not financially in a good place. And I said, well, you want me to have a abortion or something? He was like, no, I don't want you to have an abortion. I want you to put him up for adoption. I was like, what? Then he was like, I want you to give him to my sister. I was like, I'm not giving my son to your sister. Like, fuck your sister. Like, your sister mean as shit. Why the fuck would I give my son to your sister when your sister mean as shit? Your sister got a nasty ass attitude. I don't want my son growing up with this shit. Like, you crazy? My thing was, if I wasn't ready to be a mother when I got pregnant with my son, I was going to get ready. That's my thing. So I didn't understand why, as a man, he didn't think, oh, I'm about to have a baby. Let me pull my shit together. I'm 38. Think about this. Look, think about our age group. I'm 41. He's 38. We were 38 around that time. So it wasn't like we were 18 or 28. But he and I was 38 years old. So it was just like, oh, we can fix this. We adults. We got this. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're going to be all right. That's not how he was thinking. He was thinking like a child. So, like I said, I tell a story in detail about me and my son's father in my book. It's called Only Opulence. And in Only Opulence, I talk about how I talk about entrepreneurship, wealth, the wealth mindset, becoming a millionaire, because it's called Only Opulence, the road to becoming a virtual millionaire. And I start giving people tips on how to become a millionaire and the steps I'm taking to become one, which is not really like, becoming a millionaire is the least that you can do for yourself. You know what I mean? Like, it's not hard. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, buy EFTs, get some stock, you know what I mean? Get some cryptocurrency, get some real estate, buy some land. That's all you gotta do. Like, that's really it. But I think a lot of people think it's more complicated than that. It kind of is, because each thing has a complicated way to do it to some degree, but you just got to have the discipline and the determination to get it done. Like, when I was setting up my NFTs, if you don't know what an NFT is, it's basically like a digital, it's like a it's like digital art basically. So I was setting up my NFTs, and a lot of people are making a lot of money off selling and buying the NFTs. And I was setting up my NFTs, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna auction off my digital art, because it's like a put it this way. Somebody gave me a good analogy, and I'm gonna use the analogy to explain to you what an NFT is if you don't know what an NFT is. So you ever been at Dave and Buster's and they have a power card, and that power card basically gets you to inside of exclusive things if you pay enough money to get enough coins on that card. That's basically what an NFT is. Just that Dave and Buster's power card. The person that gave me that analogy, his name is Prince Donnell. He's the husband of Dana Chanel. Okay, and he owns a tax company called Jumpin' Jack Tax. And that's the analogy that he gave everybody. It's like a Dave and Buster's power card. So anyway, the NFTs worth millions of dollars. Okay, and so is a lot of land in the metaverse. I think that if you get a little bit of money, y'all, go buy some land in the metaverse, because they're already selling a lot of their land off. And if you get some land on the metaverse, you can put a store on top of it and start selling stuff inside of that metaverse. Because I think to some degree, if everybody starts being inside of the metaverse, they're going to need like stores and like places in there for people to go. And so I think I'm going to have like a digital establishment inside of the metaverse. I'm thinking about it. So anyway, um I was setting up my NFTs, and when you set up an NFT, you go to this place called OpenSea. OpenSea is one of the biggest markets for NFTs, for you to sell NFTs. But in order for you to be on OpenSea, you have to have a wallet, like a Coinbase wallet. And inside of that wallet is a whole bunch of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, right? Not just Bitcoin, but different cryptocurrencies. And my favorite cryptocurrency is this currency called Ethereum. And Ethereum is like so fucking expensive. And you need that Ethereum inside of your Coinbase. I use Coinbase. It's different types of wallets. Okay, let's get it out there. There's different types of cryptocurrency wallets. I use Coinbase. Okay, and my Coinbase wallet is attached to OpenSea, the OpenSea marketplace. And so inside of my wallet is Ethereum. And I didn't realize how much Ethereum I needed in order to even auction off my NFTs. Like, I needed at least $300 worth, the equivalent. Okay, put it like this: one, like point 0.001 of Ethereum is worth like $75. Okay, so it's like Ethereum is very expensive to me, and so in order to auction off an NFT, you have to have enough money in there to exchange, because they have these things called gas fees. And a lot of the NFT markets have gas fees that you have to pay. Put it like this: a gas fee is basically like, how a transfer fee is if you transfer your money from Cash App to your bank account. Yeah, it's like that. So those gas fees are like high. They're not like low like your bank account. They're high. But then again, it's not high to a person who's a millionaire. You see what I'm saying? To somebody that's a beginner, it's like, okay, it's a lot. And to me, I just started NFT. So to me, I was like, oh my God. But this is what people who have money are doing with their money. Like you when you are in a different tax bracket, and that's what I said about moving from Atlanta to California, where everybody is wealthy around you. I mean, there's some homeless people out there, but the area that I live in, everybody wealthy. So you get to see how they do things. You get to see how they operate. You get to see their work ethic and everything, and you get to a different level. So that's why I said, now that I'm in a different place, it's hard for me to talk about the stuff that I used to on my YouTube channel, because I'm no longer that person. Like I'm in a completely different place. So I think what y'all should do, honestly, is invest in some NFTs so you can be a millionaire. Being a millionaire is not hard. Get some NFTs, get some cryptocurrency, get more than one bank account. Don't have just a checking account. Have a checking account, have a savings account, have a money market account, have an account for your marriage. Like if you're married or you're in a relationship with somebody and y'all live together, have an account, a joint account that y'all share. have separate accounts, but put all of your money into the joint account and then take a specific amount of money out of that joint account every month for every other week for y'all to spend. So you're both putting money into that joint account. So have that. Have a savings account. Have a checking account. Honestly, don't keep your money inside of your savings unless it's like the interest rate is high. And a lot of times keeping your money inside of a bank and as a savings, it's not doing anything for you if it's not growing, if it's not building any type of interest. Okay, so that's why a lot of people get insurance, like life insurance, because there are certain types of life insurance that can be your savings account. And it's building with time. So the money is just not sitting there building low interest, building interest slowly. In insurance, life insurance is building a lot bigger and a lot faster. Anyway, I want some land myself because we don't know what the future holds, especially what's going on in the world. Um, the world to me, and I think I was watching a guy from Earn My Leisure. No, I think I was looking at Wall Street Trapper. Y'all ever heard of Wall Street Trapper? Look, if you have never heard of Wall Street Trapper, just look him up. So I think he was doing like an interview on a Breakfast Club or something. I don't know if it was him or one of the dudes from Earn My Leisure. Because the Earn My Leisure dude, the YouTube channel Earn My Leisure, is two guys. And Wall Street Trapper is one guy. So I can't remember whether it was Wall Street Trapper or the Earn Your Leisure guy who was on the Breakfast Club. And he was talking about how the metaverse, maybe when you load up your who you are in the metaverse, because the metaverse is basically a virtual reality. He was saying that you're uploading your consciousness onto metaverse, and what if the metaverse ends up becoming what real life is to everyone? So everyone's at home, because remember I said you should buy some land on the metaverse, right? So everyone's at home and they're living in the metaverse. Who you are on the metaverse has now become more important than who you are in real life. And that's kind of how it is with social media. Like people don't care, like you care about the people that you're interacting with every day, but ever since the pandemic, everybody has been relying on social media to interact with each other, and social media has changed drastically with the pandemic, right? So we saw that. So with this whole metaverse thing, I think that's the next step. Like that's the new internet. So if you want to make some money, the same way that I did when I first got on the social media many, many moons ago, when being a social media personality wasn't the thing. Like people there was no title content creator for me. I was just out there making content because that's what I wanted to do. But being a social media personality and a content creator wasn't a thing yet. It was just something that I was doing. With the metaverse, you can go and create who you want to be, or create what kind of career or lifestyle that you want and still be able to make money off of that. So I just feel like as if you're going to look at the metaverse, don't look at it from just an entertainment aspect. Look at it as, how am I going to make money if I'm going to be spending time over here? That's what I was looking at with the internet. Because when I first got on the internet, it had been like 2000, something like that. I was like, okay, if I'm gonna be spending so much time on the internet where I'm getting on Black Planet or getting on wherever the fuck, Facebook and MySpace and all of that stuff, where can I make money at? How can I make money? Because it wasn't back then. It was no, like, oh, let's monetize X, Y, and Z and you'll make money. Like the way that Instagram is monetized, Facebook is monetized, TikTok is monetized. They wasn't doing that before. And YouTube was the only place you could get online and make money. And people thought I was on YouTube just on YouTube and shit. No, I was on here making money. That's what I was doing. So find a way to make some money on the metaverse, man. Because I mean, that's all Mark Zuckerberg has been doing. Trying to find a way to make money. Like that's all. If any content creator that you see that's been a content creator or a pioneer of social media, something like how I am, or like the Tommy Sotomayor's of the world, or and we're just talking about Black people. Are there any other Black content creators that you know of who have been on here for a really, really long time? We're like the pioneers of this shit, and sometimes it feels like I think people overlook that. People don't even realize that there was a day and age where most of y'all wasn't even considering being on social media. Like you thought we was out of our fucking mind. for being online all the time, and now everybody's like online all the time. So anyway, I gotta go. I've been on here for a very long time. I'm trying to do an hour. But I just wanted you guys to remember that I'm uploading so much content that I'm gonna try to live stream 24/7. I know sometimes you see me uploading premieres, it could get like a little frustrating because you're like, damn, she's covering up my entire feed with a whole bunch of premieres. People are like, unsubscribe, unsubscribe. No, it's just I'm trying to plan out my content for the next year so I won't have to, so I can be more consistent with you guys. That's all I want to do. I just want to be more consistent with the people who support me and with the new people that are coming in. And I'm trying to get all the haters to leave. You know what I mean? But I gotta go. It's been real. Have vision and stay focused, y'all.